Welcome back to Stones Lanes right here in Norwood, Channel 5, WLWT. Happy to bring you the action. I'm Tom Brenneman, along with familiar favorites, Bo Hudepohl and David Newrath, along with a host of others here on a Sunday morning. Second game of the day, our first game winner, Doug Harber, against Nick Vogelgesang. You're taking a look at Doug Harber. First up.
Cast of thousands. Light shaking 7-pin to open the match. It's a good loose shot, though, Tom.
Well, he had a little bit better luck with that one than he did on some of those spares he was trying to pick up in that first game. Jeez.
You touched on it a couple of times, and I'll tell the folks at home, if you're developing your game now and you want to change it, you want to develop your game around something that's going to leave you. If you're not going to strike, leave a 1-pin spare, or at most a 2. Your spares will add up. You'll be at 180 and 90 average, but you start leaving those wide open splits like we were looking at, and you've got problems.
All right, here is Nick Vogelgesang. And Bo Hudepohl, this guy is no stranger to a 300. And, of course, Stones Lane's the last time we had it.
That's correct. Nick has set a record for the BPA qualifiers. He has rolled 3 300s this year already. First week at Durban Bowl, then it's at Lasanaville Lanes a few weeks ago, right here at Stones Lanes last week in qualifying, and we have an outstanding ring to present to him today with 3 beautiful diamonds in, one for each 300. I'm
going to tell you, I'm taking a look at it right now, and it is something else, along with the 300 ring we mentioned earlier for Mr. David Newrath.
What you're going to be looking at with Nick, I'd say it's a little deja vu for me, Tommy. This young man, no frills bowling. I mean, he's just going to pick up the ball, get set, and go and strap it 110%. He's not going to baby it. He's not going to try to look pretty. He's going to knock down a lot of pins, and that's all he knows how to do. Aggressive, confident young man.
You mentioned young man. Well, he leaves a pin, Dave. You mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, the shaker on that one, leaving the 10-pin, it was very close to being a powerful shot. But again, he's throwing with so much authority right now. The pins flew around. They just couldn't find the 10.
Bo Hudepohl, hard to believe how long this guy has been competing in the King qualifiers.
That's correct. Hard to believe that he's bowled 3 300s. He's only been bowling 2 months. And can I say one thing about his first 300 in the qualifiers? It was in the first day of qualifying on lane 1, the first time he has ever bowled, and he was leadoff bowler. I mean, it was a day of ones, and he shoots the first 300. Unbelievable.
There you see a smile on his face, taking a deep breath. There you go, Nick. You're allowed to do that on TV. Sure you are. All righty, Doug Harber going to step up. He was a 181-168 winner in our first game of the day, moving up the ladder.
Disaster, Tommy, easing up on the shot. He had been going wide the whole last game. He was going wide. That one going straight through the heart of the pins, leaving the 4-6, 7-10. Difficult spare. It can be made, but it's in about 1 out of 500.
You're taking a look at it right there. And boy, for the folks at home who are bowling in their leagues, I guess, Dave, really that is what you want to do. Is that the way to do it right there?
You have to bring a pin out of the pit, Tommy, and you have to throw it harder than what Doug typically throws the ball. Not that you want to damage any of the equipment, but you have to, well, like a Rick Pollard, for example, Bo, you have to really just amp it up and trap a pin between the ball and the kick plate in the back, and hopefully it careens out and takes those pins out of there. You cannot slide them over and make that spare.
You know, you mentioned Rick Pollard. He has the distinction of being the only one to have ever taken and made the split on TV. But in the meantime, the pin goes straight up through the equipment and hits one of the ceiling lights, and we had an explosion of light bulb everywhere. That's how hard he threw it.
Well, let's try to stay away from that.
It really sounds dangerous to me. Nick will be enjoying, close to a 20-pin lead here.
The scout missed it.
The scout missed it is right. Let's see if we can pick it up on the replay. The head pin. Everybody, let's keep our eyes on the head pin. Center of your screen. This man just amps it up, straps it down the lane. The head pin again, center of your screen. Watch it go to the left, right there. Now, watch it come across. I got you, and it misses. Cross lane for the 10. Oh,
David, that guy just lets it fly.
I told you, just crank it up, rear back, and throw.
This guy looks relaxed. I mean, he's got the smile on his face, kind of enjoying himself. Now, you know, I talked about a little earlier, Jeff Gross being a pitcher, but this is the guy that's actually heading to the Houston Astros spring training camp March the 13th as a pitcher. So, I mean, that is knocking him down in a hurry.
I mean, to tell you, I wish we had a speed. I was going to call a friend of mine who's a Cincinnati policeman, get him up here with one of those guns, you know?
How about a right-handed John Gant?
Doesn't throw the big bender like John, but he does throw the powerful forward roll, and with the same amount of authority, Bo, you're right. John Gant's represented here today.
Yes, his father's in the crowd. We're standing right behind us.
Nice to have him along with us on this Sunday morning right here at Stones Lanes. And Doug Harber again leaving a pin.
Leaving the 10 pin, and I tell you, the power that we saw in Nick's shot, watch the deflection here. Doug's ball, let's keep our eyes on the 6 pin. Second one from the right-hand side. Look at it, just go to the channel and die. If it would have caught the edge of the lane, it would have ricocheted up and taken the 10 pin out. Doug Harber cannot match Nick shot for shot. He's going to come out and put some pressure on him.
Well, he picks up the spare right there. Dave, let me ask you a question. When a guy who throws as hard as Nick does, is he going to get that pin to go down for him most of the time, more so than a Doug Harber would?
You know, just throwing the ball hard doesn't help you. You've got to have some action on the ball, Tommy. So the action is going to give you the side-to-side action with the speed. The rotation is going to keep the pins down on the lane. But, again, you have to be accurate. You've got to play within the form that your body knows how to perform best, and leaving the 2-8 there, we see Doug not performing well. Doug's game is a finesse game. It has been for the last 10 years. Nick, as you pointed out, just rears back and gives it all he's got.
When you're playing against a guy who throws, who plays that type of power game, do you find yourself sometimes trying to match him?
If you do, you're beat. If you do, you're beat. You have to play the game within your own structure. You've got to know your game and play it. Taking out the back pin. You don't see that.
All right, we're going to take a break from this match. We'll be back on the Hudepohl King of TV Bowling. Stay with us.
As we come back into our match, you can see that Nick is enjoying, let's just round it off at about a 30-pin advantage, Tommy.
All right, the hard-throwing youngster. Sounds like a pitcher, indeed.
I love watching that sort of ball. It makes my arm hurt, but I like to watch it.
Makes your ears hurt sitting in here in the lanes. Those pins rattling around, the ball banging up against them. I tell you what, I can hear it right through the phones over here.
I tightened it up. Should Nick bring this spare back? And this is the 4-8, by the way, and it is very choppable.
Oh, David.
Yeah, but I predicted it that time.
The new wrath factor comes back to haunt for the first time in this game.
Well, I'm sorry. Just like to let you know that it can be chopped, and just because Nick wanted to oblige and show us how, that's not my fault.
Well, we had been waiting for it in this game. It had not come up. There it was, the new wrath factor. Could play an important role.
What a fantastic shot. Tommy, the deficit 10 pins to Doug. Nick's enjoying a 10-pin lead, and he wants to build on it. Look at that ball, his wrist's going around it. The revolutions, the 1-3 pocket is completely destroyed. 10 pins in the pit. Annihilation. This man likes what he sees on that lane.
Now Doug Harber trying to get back in this one. He was a winner in our first game of the day.
That's close.
Nicely done.
That's the way you do it. That's a good shot. The ball arced out. Again, finesse. Look at the contracting styles between the two. This gentleman goes over the second arrow. He's moved his target back out. Now the ball, 1-3 pin, 5 pin, careens through, gets the 8, and there you see the goalpost. The 8-10 falling stage left.
Okay, I You know, we have a lot of proprietors who are in the crowd today. In fact, we have some new ones that came out early, and I'm just so pleased to see them. Charlie Golfus and Kim from LaRue Lanes are here. Our regulars, Mike McDonald, Sam Coleman, and Jerry Bettinghouse are here. And Sue and Joey Durkin showed up early this morning. There's Mike McDonald sitting next to our standby Greg Carpenter, Joey and Sue right there. And I want to mention one other person. We have a special lady here who has not been able to come to the qualifiers because the kids are qualifying. Michelle Brown, who is going to be my replacement as a tournament director for the BPA, as I will be a proprietor officially in a few weeks.
I tell you, I wouldn't want that lady's job after the job that Bo has done. Tough shoes to fill.
Thank
Certainly.
you. I'm not going to run away and hide, though. I am still on the tournament committee.
Picked up a nice spare there, David. He certainly needed it.
Complicated his life by leaving the whole half of the pin setups. This man's going to capitalize on it. You can bet on that. What an incredible shot. Bo, the scout, the head pin that normally comes across and hijacks the 10 out of there. Not today. We're going to have a guy standing in the way. Let's take a look at it here. Well, I guess we're going to take a look at him make a spare. But what an incredible shot. This guy has got more pin action than anybody I've seen to date except for John Gant. He hung up in that spare.
You know, Dave, he doesn't really seem to be bothered by these couple of relatively easy spares, if you will, to pick up. He just kind of shakes his head, a little grin on his face, and goes back at it.
Well, that's about all you really can do as we look at the score there. Now the match turns completely around. Doug Harber, with a strike in the 8th frame, can get right back into the match. 3 pins.
But Nick Vogelgesang is not going to let up. Coming back to cap off with, the only thing I can call it, David, is a fastball. I mean, I look at that, and it is unbelievable how much that guy lets it fly.
Definitely not a slider.
He still gets maximum revolutions. The ball is turning. You know, even though he's throwing it hard, you see the ball actually rolling towards the pins, and that's where the pin action comes in.
All right, now Doug Harber. David mentioned he's going to have to pick up some marks here in the last couple of frames.
With a strike here, he could have closed the gap to 3 pins. The spare, the advantage goes back to Nick with the strike working. Technically 13 pins in the lead. Doug Harber's mission is to destroy the 10 pin.
You know, we have a 1987 Taurus sitting in the parking lot today. I don't know if you're familiar with it yet, Tommy, but anybody that would roll a 300 game on the TV show this year would receive a 1987 Ford Taurus 4-door sedan from West Hills Ford. Isn't that neat?
That would be super.
We still have one more game to do it, too.
We could very well see it, particularly if, well, either one of these guys, really, and of course our champion. Wayne will be up next facing one of these two fellas. What does Doug have to do now, David?
Well, his mission obviously would be to strike out the rest of the game to put the pressure back on Nick, but he's not going to have the opportunity to finish. Building frame, 9th frame, going wide again, leaving the 2, 4, 7, 8, a difficult spare again.
You know, with them consistently going wide, is that just determining they're fast on their feet, David? Or
some of it may be, Bo, but I have to think that the players are not adjusting properly. Again, you can't see guys consistently going wide and think that they're all making the same basic mistake as we watch him take the back pin out. But they're not making the proper adjustments. The game now is fairly easy to figure out. If Nick marks out the rest of this game, Doug Harber is history. 2 more marks in the 9th and 10th frame, and this guy goes on to our championship round. But don't go away yet.
Definitely not.
Right through the heart, Tommy leaving the 3, the 9, the 10 pin. This is a fun one to shoot at because it's not as tough as it looks. You have to fit the ball up just to the right of center of the 3 pin. It deflects slightly to the right and fits up both in the 9th and 10th. He's not going to make it that way. Okay. I love it.
Well, the new red factor.
Again, Dave, you're having a rough day today, my friend.
You guys do the next one yourself. Let's take a look at it here on the replay. Now watch, he's going to get a break. This ball is so powerful that it actually, the spin on the ball is transferred to the 3-pin. Normal people don't do that. Believe me.
There he is, David Neurath.
There he is being a klutz. Oh, what a shooter. He needs smarts in the 9th and 10th frame. What's he do? He picks up an incredibly difficult spare, and then he crosses over on the Brooklyn side for a strike to basically put this match away.
Having a few words there with Stones Lane's proprietor Tom Murphy.
I'd like to thank everybody in the truck for that shot back here. I hope to have an opportunity to pay you guys back.
I wonder what that means. Well, put your hands up, Nick.
Bill Ankenbar, happy birthday to you. 38 years old. Boy, he's got a lot of miles on him for 38, but
I think he's looking good, David, for 38.
He does a fine job for us. He's been with the show 5 years, and we've been with WLWT for 5 years, and we're proud to be here again.
Of course, this is the silver anniversary of the Hudepohl TV King of Bowling, 25 years.
Even with 3 strikes here, Tommy, the best Doug Harber can get is 163, I believe, and obviously Nick's already surpassed that with 174, so he's going to be our champion and meet the guy with the hot hand in the next match. Old Wayno has been throwing the ball well.
Well, Dave, you mentioned that Doug is already out of the match, but of course, I guess you just want to finish up on a good note. Is that the idea?
You bet. Everybody's watching at home. You know that it took some talent to get here, and you hate to win a marginal game the game before and not come back with at least a couple. Doug having his problems today.
You know, a lot of time when the pressure's off, though, they also start throwing strikes. And it's just that factor right there. The pressure's gone.
Well, Nick Vogelgesang has certainly put the pressure on. Doug Harber, our winner in the first game today, 181 to 168, but not the same this time around. The finals of today's Stones Lane's TV King of Bowling coming up next. Stay with us.